Well, here we go again. Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm gonna be doing my top 5 a little bit different. No gameplay in the background, just discussion, because this is probably one of the hardest top 5s to honestly do in a long time, just because of all the changes and everything being very, very different. 3-shot meta somewhat mattering, but somewhat not, just because assault rifles are not as good at long range as they used to be. Thank you for the subscription, Mob Gaming. So anyways, I just want to have a discussion with you guys, and I'm gonna give you my personal top 5, and I want you to comment your personal top 5 down below as well. And I'm gonna give you guys the Gunsmith for my top 5, all that good stuff. But I first want to give an honorable mention to this weapon right here, because due to its recoil, it's somewhat not as good as some of the other weapons. And it's still a 3-shot weapon, but if you don't know the recoil pattern, if you can't learn it, it's hard to use. So this won't be a top 5 for everybody, but I want to get honorable mention to the ASM10. I still like the ASM10. Now, everybody isn't going to enjoy using the ASM10. Now, why is that Gunsmith what it is? It's not my Gunsmith. This is it. Anyway, this is my Gunsmith right here. This is the ASM10. I'm gonna give an honorable mention to the ASM10 before I get into the top 5, because it's very controversial. ASM10, which was arguably the best weapon in the game for a long time, got nerfed, and then now it feels like it's not as useful, just because all the changes and everything going to more of a mid-range for ARs, and everything up close is SMGs, just because of the mobility and everything like that. But shout out to the ASM10. Okay, that's what I want to do first before we get into this video. I still think potentially it could be in the top 5 for some people, but it's very opinionated now. It's very opinionated. Except for the top weapons, it's very opinionated. Like, from, if you want to go 4 down, I feel like it's very opinionated. But my top 3, I feel like you can kind of agree with, especially number 1. You can kind of agree with. So I want to go ASM10 honorable mention. Next, on my number 5 on my list, I want to give the HG, the HVK. I want to get HVK that spot. Now, large caliber ammo is not as good as it used to be, but HVK still has a spot on my top 5. Okay, it's still good. It's still a good gun to use. Will you see it as much as you used to? No, you won't, but I still enjoy using the HVK. Okay, so this is the Gunsmith right here that I'm rocking for it, and this is on my number 5 spot. Hopefully you guys give me, your top 5 below. I really want to know what everybody's top 5 is. So this is my number 5 assault rifle. Let's go over number 4. Okay, my number 4 is none other than the Man of War. Okay, Man of War is still good. My personal problem with the Man of War right now is that the mobility just is bad. It's heavy. It's an LMG. It's an LMG assault rifle. So other than that, if you want to play passively, it's still probably one of the best, if not number 1 for you. Somebody who plays slower is perfect for you, okay? But it's not in mine, because it's not my play style, okay? So this is probably the best season of play styles, man. Your play style will determine what weapon is better for you, because you can see one person bodying somebody with one weapon, and you pick that same weapon up and you will get absolutely destroyed, okay? So that's what I do enjoy about this update. It's not necessarily, now you do still have a few guns that are just meta, QXR for example, right? But it's in a better spot than it was. It's not just the same weapon all over the place. So that's good. That's good. So this is my number 4, which may surprise some of you, okay? But at the same time, I think it's deserving. Okay, so let's go to my number 3. Now, you can argue with me on these next few. Okay, you can argue with me on these, and I want you to, but just keep in mind that it's just my personal list, and the way that I'm about to do this is different. But I'm gonna give the number 3 spot to the ASVAL. Okay, I'm gonna give a number 3 spot to the ASVAL. Why? Because it's the best SMG assault rifle hybrid in the game. Okay, this is the Gunsmith that I use, and I feel like it's good for people who want to still somewhat have the AR feel but want to rush as well. So the ASVAL gets number 3, and this is gonna be like, this is probably the most controversial one, other than what I'm about to tell you in a few seconds, because I kind of have a tie for the number 2 spot, and then I'll explain that in a second. But this is what I'll be using in this season for my ASVAL. Number 2 is kind of a tie for me, and that is the LK and the BK, both the LK and the BK. Okay, I feel like these weapons are more similar, even the name BK LK 5724. So I feel like these weapons are very similar. LK to me is a little more accurate, but the BK seems to be a little bit more on the aggressive side, and so this is the gunsmith that I use for it. I really do enjoy the BK and the LK. That's why I didn't want to separate them, because I felt like at the end of the day, and put my gunsmith on here, for like I said, for some reason I keep always forgetting to save my gunsmiths. But anyway, I feel like that we are at a place where it's all personal preference now, more personal preference than ever before. This is the gunsmith right here, by the way. So I didn't want to separate them, because I wanted to throw the ASVAL, the Man of War, and the HVK in there inside of the top 5. But I feel like these two are tied for me personally on my number 2 spot, and I got 2 for number 2. Isn't that appropriate though? 2 for number 2. But anyway, okay, so that's my explanation on those. And last but definitely not least, which I feel like is the best weapon in the game, best AR in the game, in my opinion. You may disagree, but that is, let me just go to it on my, wait a minute. Okay. How did I keep passing this weapon? I have no idea. Here it is right here. The DRH. So I feel like the DRH is the best assault rifle in the game, in my personal opinion. And DRH has been on top for a long time now, and I think it's still on top of the rest of the assault rifles. Like I said, this is my personal opinion. Everything is in a good spot, really, in terms of the ARs. Now, could you say they may need a little bit more mobility? Maybe. You can make that argument, maybe. But I think once you kind of crack down on the QXR a little bit, which I feel like it is going to get nerfed at some point, I feel like that's probably the one metal weapon that's in the game that's just super just out there right now. You can make cases for other weapons, but that is definitely one of them. But the DRH to me is the best AR in the game by far, and it is no debate here. I don't believe. If you want to argue with me on this, then go ahead. But I don't think it's an AR better than the DRH. Now there are honorable mentions that can be said. Like for example, the FR. I can give an honorable mention to the FR. Okay, just like I did the ASM-10. But other than that, I think the rest of the weapons are just not as good as the rest. Now, the AK-117, you can make a case for it being in the top 10 as well. But, you know what I'm saying? Other than those 3, but I feel like the LK and the BK do what the AK-117 does, but just better. But I do love the look and feel of the AK-117. That's one thing. You don't have to slap a red dot on this. And you don't have to slap a red dot on the BK. That's why I got them both tied. I'm torn between the 2. But like the AK-117, I really wouldn't use it. The M16, I really wouldn't use it. The Type 25, I really wouldn't use it. The M4 is okay at different ranges. I made a video on it the other day, but other guns do the same thing a little bit better. Kind of like the ICR, you could do the same thing with other guns. They do a little bit better. You can use the ICR though. It is usable. It is definitely usable. Okay, KN-44. I mean, LK and BK do what it does, just a little bit better. You know, and HBR, same problem. Peacekeeper, we'll recoil a little bit. Same kind of an issue though. Maybe you can use it a little bit, but like the ASVAL can do what the Peacekeeper can do, but better. And that's kind of how I like to do my top 5s. Think about what those weapons do, and is it a weapon in the class that can do the same thing it does but better? Okay, so that's kind of where my top 5. I said top 10, but my top 5 comes from. But let me know what you guys think about the top 5 list, and I like to discuss over, like, this season is very, it's about getting a discussion in, rather than just showing gameplay in the back and telling you my top 5. So thank you guys for watching. Continue to grind and continue to shine. It's your boy Drew, and I'm out.